go into the classroom once a month and we do a mindset lesson. And when we talked about the power of yet, we talked about how it's okay to make a mistake. Mistakes are proof that you're trying. And when we brought the power of yet into it, we said your brain just hasn't learned it yet. If that strategy isn't working, keep going until you find a strategy that does work. Your brain hasn't learned it yet.
Northside uses the power of yet. If one student says, I can't do it, we will say, yet, you can't do it yet. We all know that the power of yet is very powerful and that the word yet is very important.
The power of yet doesn't mean, I can't do this. It means, I can't do this. I can't do this yet. The power of yet means that, like, you can't do it yet, but if you keep trying, you can do it.
So at Elmwood, during our community meetings, we have been delivering a consistent message about the growth mindset as a whole building. We've been watching Class Dojo videos, and we've been talking about how our brains are growing. And you can see evidence of that throughout the school. We've been doing a lot of reflecting on Seesaw posts and looking at old posts and comparing them to our latest posts. So for example, my students recorded themselves reading at the beginning of the year, and now listening to their recordings, they can see how much they've grown as a fluent reader. We've also watched videos of other students completing Rube Goldberg's and seeing how they fail, but eventually thinking about those mistakes and correcting those mistakes can help you grow and create a more refined project.
When you have a growth mindset, pretend there's this one problem that's really, really hard, and you can't do it. You can do it, but like it's hard. So then you say, to have a growth mindset, you say, I can do this. I am good at I can grow my neurons and do this. And a fixed mindset is if there's a hard problem, you get the problem, you say, I can't do this. This is too hard and I'll never be able to do this.
My name is Joe Underkoffler. I teach 4th grade here at Northside. I teach math, science, and social studies. I want to tell you a little bit about what we're doing as far as the growth mindset goes in 4th grade. This is actually school-wide here at Northside. This GROW initiative has taken place where teachers are coming up with their own GROW folders. And GROW is an acronym that you'll hear more about in a bit. So teachers are finding ways for students to graph their own growth as far as their performance goes in academics. So if you look here, you see their students are tracking their fact fluency, and you can see here at the beginning of the year, the student in particular started off low, which is okay. We're looking for growth and not perfection here off the start. But you can see here that you can tell that the students are, as progressing, their confidence is building, they're becoming prouder of themselves, where eventually they have reached their goals. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to celebrate growth, and students are taking ownership of this through their GROW folders.
In the Northside Elementary School, about the GROW, the G for GROW is give your best every day. The R is read some more. The O is omit all excuses, and the W is willingly take risks. So for 5th grade, we have GROW folders where we write down our goals, and then we can go and see how we do on them. And some goals are personal, some are for math, and some are for ELA. I have a personal goal for swimming, which I want to get a minute and 24 seconds for an IM, which is an individual medley that has butterfly backstroke, breaststroke, freestyle. And I've been keeping track of that goal by going back and then writing about how I've done with it. And I have achieved that goal, so then I can go back and set a smaller time or a better goal for it.
We talked about what growth mindset. When I say growth mindset, when you have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset, what do we talk about? What does that even mean? Caleb?
It means like if you have a growth mindset, it's hard for you to do it, but you say, I can do it, I won't give up because I know I can do it, I just can't do it yet.
What, just can't do it yet? Oh, that is such a big word for us. The power of what?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have more to add to that?
For a fixed mindset,
Mm-hmm.
like, it's hard for you to say, I can't do it, I'll never be able to do it, because this is too hard for me, I'll never be able to do it.
Oh, man. So when you're doing a math problem, and you're looking at that math problem, and that math problem is hard, and you just want to give up, what are some things you tell yourselves? Callie?
Keep trying, you'll eventually get it.
Keep trying. Afia?
Your neurons, whenever you learn about one thing, it creates a neuron, and the more times you learn about it, your neuron gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Like the first time, it's like one piece of yarn, it's really thick, but the second time is like it's 4 pieces of yarn put together.
All right, so I introduced them to growth mindset by talking about their neurons. I talked about their brain. I showed them what a neuron looked like before, like when they were born, and then what their brains look like now, what their neuron and neural connections look like now. We talked about how when you first are introduced to something, or you first start wanting to learn about something, that your neural connection might be as little as a thread, but that the more you practice it, you can make it grow, and until it becomes this really strong, thick connection, because your brain is a muscle. We've also talked about how if you don't practice it, it won't grow then, and it can actually shrink unless you continue to practice it. And so like when they're working really hard on something, we have these little neurons that we can stick on their desks so that they remember that they're growing their neural connections. And then we've talked about the power of yet, and how when you have this fixed mindset that you can't do something, you're not going to be able to do it. But if you attach that word yet in there, I can't do it yet, I don't get it yet, it doesn't work yet, that shows that they're still trying to learn, they're still trying to grow. We've talked about the word fail and how it doesn't mean that you can't do something, it actually just means that it's your first attempt in learning. And that has really changed the way they approach their learning. They approach it with such a positive attitude, and the growth that I've seen with this group this year, my first year teaching it with them, they are so much more positive about it than previous years, and the growth that I've seen previous years when they've used more of the fixed mindset, I haven't seen as much growth. So it's a game changer in here.
It's just given them a different way to look at making mistakes. It gives them the okay to make a mistake and learn from that mistake and change what they're doing. It gives them the opportunity to try different strategies to get to the end point or the goal of the task, whatever it is. I had a particular student who was struggling in that area, and his self-talk was very negative, I can't do it, and just refused to try, just would shut down. So we kind of talked about what the growth mindset is, and what we can say to ourselves, like I can try instead of I can't, or mistakes help me learn, and not to get so upset about mistakes. So we did put little pop-up notes on their desks that they can refer to that says I can try, mistakes help me learn. So that's just a kind of a little reminder to them when they start getting that negative talk to themselves, that it's okay to make a mistake. I'm going to learn from that. My brain is going to grow.
One of the things that we try to consider when giving feedback is to not necessarily praise a kid because they're smart or great, but to praise the specific action or the choice that a student made, and to talk about what was so thoughtful. That way, when they're working in the future, they know to continue to make those kinds of choices, as opposed to just say, well, I'm smart, and so I'm just going to be smart.
Our teachers give us goals that they had that they didn't achieve the first time, but then they do achieve, so they tell us that we should be exact same. We shouldn't just get the goal as soon as we talk about it. They tell us that failure isn't always the worst possible thing.
What does it mean to have a growth mindset?
It means to have fun and to learn and to not give up.